Hello friends around the world. My name is KAZU. I welcome you all to come and visit my page. And I hope you enjoy all my posts, pictures, and video clips. I want to use this wonderful opportunity to say thank you all who have been leaving your wonderful comments, messages, and gifts. And I hope I will hear from you again. I also want to say thank you for choosing to view this video clip.
I think it's important that we keep our hope going, even though sometimes you may think it might be impossible. But I think from my family's standpoint and mine, our hope is to eliminate war as a method of settling disputes between nations, because we as a world should be able to feed everyone. There's plenty of food. It's just that there isn't any money for it, and the economics and the political part of it has not been straightened out yet, and it's going to take a long time. And I do hope that that will happen, so that the people in the world can live much more comfortably and without the threat of war taking all their resources, all their money, all their everything for weapons instead of food and home and houses and education. I think that's what I'd like to see is better distribution of food, which I've already mentioned. But I'd like to see also health care can be much more superior than it is in any country. Especially in our country, the health care is not as good as it should be. We have about 35 million people that don't have health insurance, for example. And then they go to the emergency, and the emergency hospital takes care of them, and the emergency hospital gets paid, and it costs more money to do it that way, because emergency rooms are very expensive, than it is to have health care.
Okay, I'm Jim Karls. I'm Vice President of the UNA Santa Barbara, United Nations Association of Santa Barbara. KAZU was asking what I would like to see for the future of our world. I think, like other people in the UN and people in my cadre of friends, I'm looking for a world which essentially lives in peace and does not solve its problems by killing each other. I think the UN is the vehicle for that, and it has not only a history, a track record of doing that, but also in recent times is gaining in stature as a major mechanism for bringing about the kind of world I would like to see. So I would like to see a world in which problems, particularly international problems, are resolved in the halls of the United Nations rather than on the battlefields. That's my position.
My name is Hugh Pease. I was born in a hospital in Chicago, Illinois in 1913, December of 1913. I am now just 90 years old. When I was 4 years old, when I was born in 1913, we talked about peace as a period of calm between wars, as in time of peace, prepare for war, was the dictionary definition of peace. Since that time, I have come to feel that peace is as much building positive conditions as having quiet conditions or having calm. And that if all we do is have calm, we don't have peace. We just have a state of getting along reasonably together, but we don't know how to work together, so that peace itself, to me, has a whole other positive side of building education and ability to work together and solve problems and find answers together and to build better conditions. And by better conditions, I'm talking about ways to work together. I'm talking about employment. I'm talking about education. I'm talking about nutrition. I'm talking about health. But there's a whole sphere of positive conditions that we need to be building if we really want to have peace. And learning to work together and to find better answers is just as much a part of peace as stopping violence or stopping war. So that until we start working on the whole of peace, we are not likely to achieve it. When I was 4 years old, my family moved from Chicago, from Evanston, which is just north of Chicago, to California. And I grew up in California, and that we need to learn to find better answers, and we need to learn to work together and get people working together. And I use the Japanese automobile as a good example of what can happen if you start to learn to work together and get better answers. So that's how it was developed, and a good many other things that the Japanese have worked on, and they've skunked us. But we're learning to do a better job ourselves. So we've got a lot of training to do in helping people work out and handle and administer human systems. And I think that that's what I mean when I say that we'll have to learn to work together and to build systems where people can work together and find better answers.
I'm Richard Harris, and in World War II I saw devastation. So I decided that I needed to do something for peace. My hope for the world is that we can find a way to peace, talk and not shoot.
My name is Esther Leon. I am a cantor. I am the founder of Voices of Hope, Children Helping Children, to put on concerts all over the world. I conceived this idea when I was on an airplane going to visit my grandchildren. I saw an article in Time magazine that said poverty could end by year 2015. Well, the minute I got off the plane, I got on my cell phone and I called the UN and said I want to help. And I immediately called the Ford Amphitheater here and asked them, do you take a credit card? And we booked the date. And I felt at that moment, being a child Holocaust survivor, and I know when I was 4, 5, 6 years old, how I didn't have food, running from one place to another and hiding. And I always said to myself, and I said to God, one day I will do something with children. I will do something with children that no child should ever have to be in fear. No child should not have water and food and a warm blanket. And I feel it is the children. It is the children of the world that will make the difference, because their voices will be heard. Because their voices are pure, their hearts are pure, their thoughts are pure. And they understand, and I think they maybe understand much more than we can understand what they understand.